guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video it's going to be my April wrap up. Honestly, I'm not really sure what possessed me to do an April wrap up in like the second week of May, but I just felt like it, and I haven't done a wrap up in so long. I actually don't have a wrap up on my channel, and I just kind of want to see what kind of videos you guys actually do like to see so that I know what content to create. If you have any ideas for videos that you want me to do or ones that you want me to continue doing, comment down below and let me know. So without further ado, let's get into this wrap up. So in the month of April I managed to read 12 whole books. That is amazing for me. In March I read 20 books, but 10 of those were a really short like children's series that I still haven't actually put the vlog up for. I read it all in 24 hours. But anyways, I read 12 books in April and they were all for the Owl's Magical Readathon. So now I am a qualified alchemist. I'm not sure if that's the career I'm going to be going for in August, but now that I have all of the owls I can technically choose any career in August. So yeah, also I have, it's like summer fruits drink here, because it's important to keep hydrated. It's a really hot day. I am also wearing the same outfit that I'm wearing in another video because it's just a filming day. So the first book that I managed to read in the month of April was Bear and Fred. I'm not 100% certain of the author. I will put it here if I can find a picture of it. I got this on my Kindle and it was such a super cute little picture book centering around World War II from a child's perspective, and it was super cute, super compact, and it actually had a beginning, middle and end in a very short book. Would definitely recommend. I gave it 5 stars, even though like obviously it didn't take me that long to read, but I still gave it 5 stars. The next one that I read was Space Struck. Again, cannot remember the author. I only gave this one 3 stars because I read it as an audiobook that I had gotten as an ARC, and honestly it wasn't my favourite. It was just a little bit too sciencey and a little bit too like philosophical for me to enjoy because I don't usually like that sort of thing, but it was a very short audiobook and it filled a prompt that I was struggling to fill, so I read it and I gave it 3 stars. The next book that I read was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm not going to be saying what exam these were for because if you watch my Owls vlogs you will know. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars and I read it all physically and I annotated it. I was so proud of myself. I loved this. I buddy read this book with my friend Caitlin over on Bookstagram, and it was so much fun. I just love being back in this world, and this was actually the like when I read this series years ago, this was the book I stopped after. So this was a reread, but after that I hadn't read the next books in the series. I loved this. This is still my favourite in the series that I've read so far, but I am very intrigued to find out how the rest goes. Next up, I finished a book that I had been reading for a very long time, since the 1st of September, and I finally finished Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. I gave this 4.5 stars. I don't know, did I take the final 0.5 stars away because of the lack in the story, or was it just because it took me like almost a year to read? I did really enjoy this. I did find a couple of things very like I did find a couple of things in this book very convenient, and I do not like convenience, especially in heavy fantasy. Also, it's a very long book and I feel like we could have perhaps cleared it up in a bit of a shorter period of time, but I still nonetheless enjoyed it and cannot wait to continue with the series. The next 2 books that I read were Heartstopper Volume 1 and 2 by Alice Oseman. These were rereads, of course. I gave them both 5 stars. They're so amazing, so cute, so wholesome. Need I say more? I'm not really going into the synopsis of these books actually, but just look them up on Goodreads if you want to find a full synopsis. Most of these are books that people have heard of anyways, but these center around Nick and Charlie, who are like coming out, and it's just super cute and wholesome, and I love this series with my whole heart. The next book that I read was The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars because I went through so many emotions with this book. As you can see in one of my videos, I think it's a 24-hour readathon video, it was just like the start was quite good, then it slowed down in the middle, then it really picked up at the end, but the ending just angered me so much. Like I was so frustrated with the ending, did not like it at all, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But I'm so intrigued to read the second book because I really need to know what that ending meant, even though I didn't 100% enjoy this one, and I don't know whether I'm gonna 100% enjoy the next one. I still cannot wait to read it. This is in New Orleans in the 1700s or 1800s, I believe, and we follow Celine, who is kind of discovering that not all is what it seems. Not a lot happens in this book. It's very character driven, but also at the same time I feel like I didn't really know the characters that much, so really it's like 400 pages of nothing happening, but it's still really good. I don't know how to explain it. I liked it, and I cannot wait to pick up the sequel, but still, the ending just frustrated me. The next book that I picked up was We Are the Beaker Girls by Jacqueline Wilson. I was actually quite disappointed in this book. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I know to a lot of people that's a pretty good rating, but for me it's actually kind of only average. And because it's a Jacqueline Wilson book, I also felt like I was being a little bit kind on the rating because I just love her so much. And honestly this felt a little bit flat to me. Maybe it's because I'm older and don't appreciate her books as much as I did, but really I don't think that should matter because I read middle grade books all the time and I love them, and I don't think an age range... Okay, there's a truck. I don't think the age range on a book like kind of describes who is allowed to enjoy it, but I personally didn't really enjoy this book. It just felt a little bit convenient again, which I think I would have enjoyed a little bit more when I was younger, but also the writing just didn't captivate me. I found it really difficult to get through, and I ended up turning to the audiobook to just try and power through it. And you know, when I turn to an audiobook instead of physically reading, I'm not really enjoying it, and that's just how it be. The next book I read on Kindle, and it was actually my favourite book of the month, and it was The Paris Library. I cannot remember the author right now and this is killing me, but anyways, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It is a new favourite of mine. It features around the library during World War II in Paris, and it's just so beautiful, it's so whimsical. It reminded me why I love books, how important books are, and it also had a very prominent storyline taking place in the 80s in Middle America, I believe, and it was just, the two storylines just came together. Everything was so beautiful about it, and I just loved it so much. It is out next February. I would totally recommend that you buy it. I have it on NetGalley, but as soon as it comes out in physical copy I am buying multiple because I just love it so much. Like, it's amazing. Definitely go pick it up. The next book that I read was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Again, it was not my favourite in the series, but it was the first time that I read this book, so if you want to see me experience Harry Potter for the first time, check back on my old vlogs, because it was a roller coaster of emotions. Again, I really loved it, but the movie didn't live up to the book. I did find that I did prefer the book more than the movie, which I didn't think that I would, because I did love the movie so much before I read the book, and then I was like, actually the book is so much better. So I loved this book, and I cannot wait to continue with Order of the Phoenix, because again, I've never read the rest of this series, so I cannot wait. Next book that I read is on Kindle again, and it is My Name is Victoria. Again, I cannot remember the author. Why am I so bad at remembering authors' names? I am so sorry. But this again features around World War II and this woman's journey in Italy, trying to save her family and trying to kind of get out of the war zone and save them. I gave this book 3 stars, and it was a really difficult decision for me to give a World War II story, especially because it's a true story, 3 stars. But honestly, it just felt a little bit flat to me. I feel like, obviously I'm glad nothing happened, but nothing happened in the book to keep me interested. For the first, like, I don't know, half of the book we literally just talked about what they were eating for dinner and arranged marriages, which, okay, it might be interesting to some people, but that's not really the plot that I signed up to read. Plus I found there was a lot of sexist elements in it, which I just did not really enjoy. But I don't want to be critical because it is somebody's story, and she was incredibly brave and inspiring and just resilient, and I'm sure, you know, because I think the author is actually Victoria's granddaughter or grandniece, or she's some relation, and I just think that that's so special and so amazing. So I don't want to be critical about this book, but still it wouldn't be very honest of me to not give my real opinion, so that's why I gave it 3 stars. But I still did enjoy it, and I did find it very impactful. The final book that I read in the month of April was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I have so many thoughts about this book. I already read this with Jamie from Leo Reads, and I had such a blast. But like, this book, right, started out really promising. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be some sort of like murder mystery, kind of like corrupt book, and it just wasn't. I think the twists were not twisty. There were no twists, and I think what we were led up to believe was going to be a really important part of the story all the way through just wasn't, and I'm going to try to not obviously give spoilers because I'm not going to do that, but I did find the writing very, very nice. The only thing was the chapters are very long. I do not like long chapters because there's one chapter in here that's like 50 pages, so you cannot just say, oh, I'm just going to read a chapter before I do this, because it takes me like an hour and a half. So I did struggle with this, and again I picked up the audiobook to try and get through it. It deals with a lot of favoritism and a lot of everything, which is just awful, and reading about it I felt so sad for some of these characters, but also I really didn't like the characters. Like at the start I was like, this seems like a lovely family, this is so cute, you know, they were dealing with a lot of like racism, and I was like, this is awful. And by the end of it I was like, I genuinely don't like you as a character, and I just could not care less about your stupid problems, and that is just how I felt. So I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars because there were a lot of elements that I did enjoy, and the writing was beautiful, and I do want to pick up another one of Celeste Ng's books because I do think that the writing is so lyrical and so pretty, but this story just was trash, and I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. And this is actually a gift for Christmas from somebody over on Bookstagram, and I'm really grateful that they got it for me because I really wanted to read this book, but it just fell a little bit flat for me. So yeah, overall I read 4,002 pages and I read 12 books in the month of April. I have also started counting how many pages I read each month because I think that's just a little bit intriguing for me. So I really enjoyed everything that I read. There was no books that I absolutely hated, but there were a few that I found a little bit trudging through. I am currently uploading a video, so go check that out. I just kind of wanted to know how a wrap-up would do, if you guys like that sort of thing, and if you did, comment down below, like and subscribe if you want to, and I hope you're having an amazing day or night. Keep your head in the clouds and a book in your hand, and I will see you all very, very soon.